Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Shamrock Valley and welcome to a new series that I'm going to do. This is going to be different, this is going to be interesting to see how this works out. This is the Crowdsourced challenge. I'm going to actually tap out a farm sim real quick so that I can get the current state of things here. There we go. So, every episode I will be looking in the comments and picking out a comment. Now, that sounds fine enough. I will read through the comments during the videos as well, but every episode I'm going to pick a rule out of the comments. So leave rule suggestions below. We're going to start off with 5 rules that I came up with by myself, all by myself, about 2 minutes ago. Some of these I've kind of had in mind for a while. Some of these I literally just came up with. So the current rules: must use 6-day seasons, 250 horsepower or less equipment. You got to plow at the end of every year, harvest all the grass and crops can only be sold in the winter. Here's where you guys come in. You guys are going to give me more rules that I have to play by. So as this series goes on, it's going to get more and more and more and more convoluted. Now, you guys might remember I've said for a while that, hey, when Shamrock's on testing, videos will start. Shamrock's on testing. From Giants. It actually failed testing from Giants at attempt 1. But it's getting there. Now you might notice that I'm allowed to tab and I'm allowed to do all these things that I'm not allowed to do in the I've forgotten where I put everything. Why is the Ford 40 over here? Ah yeah. Hey, I remember what I was going to do this episode. I'm allowed to do all the stuff that I'm not allowed to do in the Insanity Challenge. And I will be using the wheel for this series as well. You can maybe hear it rattling under the mic. So without further ado, let's get some farming done. We've got the Ford. Actually, I should introduce the vehicles we've got. We've got a Ford 8340. This is the blue tractor that I was alluding to. We've got a Kverneland 3-meter cultivator, which I just detached by mistake. We've got a John Deere 7030 Premium, a Fiat Agri 18090, the obligatory Krone Rake, a Mikhail HS2000 wrapper, a Heron 16-ton trailer, front weight for the deer, which will double as a rear weight for pretty much everything else, Kverneland plow from the Modern Classics DLC, the Kuhn seeding pack there from the Kuhn pack, Kverneland fertilizer spreader, the Amazon sprayer that nobody uses anymore. I'm going to use it. Class Roland baler, class quadrant baler, square baler. This is the square baler that I've been keeping secret and hiding from you guys. It's a class quadrant 1200. It looks really nice, works pretty well. The obligatory bale stacker that I'm using on pretty much every series now because it's nice. Richie Round Bale Handler from, I think this is from Peter J's pack. The Kolozevsky silage grab thing. The teeny tiny mowers that I love. And the Vicon Fanex Tedder. If I come over here, we've got the Dooley trailer, 23-foot trailer, that has auto load available if I want to use it. Over here we have our manure and slurry equipment. And the graze roller that's hiding in the reeds here. That is usable. That's the grass roller. We got the Abbey 2500R and the Abbey 2550. These are both by CD models /4D modding. Both really nice, and I'll be using them as time goes on. However, we've got some cultivating to do, so let's get on with the show. Now, you guys might remember I said I would do some prep work. I actually did all that with money cheat on. You can say I've started us off with €100,000 just so that we can do some stuff and buy some animals and stuff as we move along. But I started us off with 100 grand just so that there's kind of a safety net available of money. I'm not going to do the whole if I go negative it's game over kind of thing. No, that's the Insanity Challenge through and through. But it's just something there that, you know, I can buy things straight away if I really want to. and get things on the go there. Now, the 250 horsepower or less rule, it was always going to be a thing no matter what I went with for this series. I do have terrain response, and I think I've got crop destruction on as well, so I do need to be careful when I'm spraying and doing stuff like that. And it's just going to be a case of desperately trying to not forget the rules, so I'm going to have a Google Doc open at all times so that I can read through the rules or write them down somewhere or something, so, just so that I've got them available, so that if I do something that I'm not sure if it's within the rules, I can double check and make a judgment. And you guys can do that too, I guess. But yeah, like I said, leave your rule suggestions in the comments, and I'll pick one basically at random, one that I think will be a really fun thing to do, really fun or interesting. It might be really mean, and I might hate it, but it might make things interesting, and I might choose it just for that reason. So don't be afraid to be mean, don't be afraid to have some weird silly rule, don't be afraid to have something that you're not entirely sure if it'll work, but it'll be kind of cool to see if it does. All of those kinds of rules will be will be thought about by me overnight, and when I'm recording the next episode, because these will have to be kind of as a result of the crowdsourced rules for this challenge, recorded basically the day before they go live, which is fine by me. Or if there's a load of rule suggestions, I can kind of record in bulk or something, but I'm going to try and keep it so that the rules are from the previous video that I've done, and I'll keep a list of rules that I'd like to put in, just in case there's not many comments. I'll pick and choose, and while I'll only be introducing one new rule per episode, I might pick 6 comments that I liked the rules from, and I'll use all of them as time goes on. So, the reason that I've decided to do the crowdsourced challenge isn't because I couldn't be bothered coming up with rules myself. I can come up with rules for a challenge, within 20 minutes. It's because I wanted you guys to get into the act a bit and kind of see what you guys want to see in this challenge. And because the rules are constantly changing, it means that the difficulty is constantly going to change. You guys might bring in a rule that means that, I've got to take out this ridiculous loan and try and pay it all back or something, or that I get fines for doing stuff wrong, or stuff like that. That's going to make things interesting for me and for you guys. And don't be afraid. Don't worry about me not streaming this. I will be streaming this. And during the streams, the rules will not be in effect. So these rules will only really be existing in videos. No, screw it. I'll use the rules in streams as well. The rules will always be in effect. But during the streams, I might kind of loophole some rules. I'll be very strict in videos, but in streams I might say, oh, well, I can do this because the rule doesn't specifically say I can't. But during videos, you'll see me being very strict with the rules and being very mean to myself. And it's been a while since I've used the wheel for Farm Sim, so I'm kind of getting used to it again. Now, we are starting off with just the starter fields, and I think I've got pretty much all of them ready to go. They've all been, if I bring up the map overview here, they've all been ploughed. They've all been fertilized. They're all ready to go. I know it says the 2 grass fields aren't ploughed. That's because they're fully fertilized. I've used the roller. When I mow them the first time, late spring, they will be fully ploughed, fully fertilized, fully everything. We'll use the roller on the grass. Not because it's a rule, but because it's a lot easier than coming in twice to spray it. And 6-day seasons, you might be wondering, why are you using 6-day seasons, Dave? It's because it's the balance between the perfect YouTube situation with seasons and it being 3-day seasons, and the seasons that I prefer to play with off camera, which would be 9-day seasons. Even though I don't play off camera, I know for a fact that I'd go with 9-day, just because it allows me to get that bit more work done, gives me a bit more flexibility in what I do and when, and 6-day is kind of the middle ground there. The equipment choices, you might be wondering, why have I chosen this over this, or why did I not use this? And there's actually one thing that I need to get yet, so I'll cheat that in after this video. And have as a secret surprise for today's stream. Actually, I won't use it for today's stream because there'll be no point in using it. I'll keep it as a secret surprise for when it needs to be used. And it'll be just hidden somewhere on the map. Probably in a shed somewhere. But the reason that I chose the equipment that I did is because it's equipment that I would, with the exception of the 18090, which I need to download the 110 that Glengar sent me. Glengar still having a look. I'm sorry, dude. I need to download the 110 Glengar sent me and have a look at that. And if it is to the same quality as the 180, then I'll just straight swap the 180 for the 110. I'll make it a 110 turbo, and that'll be fine. But everything I'm using is stuff that I would expect to see in Ireland on a small farm of about this size. And the reason that it's all old equipment and small equipment is because, well, realistically, and in real life, you wouldn't have big equipment on a small farm like this. You know, the baler, I think, maybe is stretching reality a bit. The harvester definitely is. You wouldn't have a harvester in real life on a farm this small. You know, you'd just get in contractors who'd probably have like a Lexion or something. Or maybe they'd have a Class Mega 208. But there's bound to be people who complain that the combine's too small, and then people that complain the combine's too big, or something like that. The equipment I chose is basically stuff that I'd expect to see working a farm of this size. Not necessarily owned by it, but working a farm of this size, if it were to exist in real life. Because in Ireland, for those of you that don't live in Ireland, farms don't make a lot of money. It's mainly, and I will be doing this, it's mainly cattle farms that make money, mainly dairy farms, because they can at least sell their milk all year round. Beef farms tend to make a decent bit as well, because they can, you know, you can kill a cow any day of the week. But it's dairies where the money's at in Ireland, because we love milk, and we love dairy products. We love milk and cheese. And dairy farms, as a direct result of that, get not a huge amount, but they get a decent amount. Milk prices are not much better than the UK, but when there's such a small market, and you're using equipment that, while not necessarily ancient, isn't the newest, you can get a pretty good amount of money together. So the most profitable farms in Ireland, I have done this research. I have actually looked this up. The most profitable farms in Ireland are actually dairy farms. They're the ones that make the most money and spend the least. Because you probably don't have the biggest equipment. They probably have really small tractors, just a yard tractor. And they get contractors to do everything, and they do some mowing for silage, and maybe bale a bit. But that's about it. Most of what will happen on a real-life dairy farm is yard work. Which, we'll be doing a decent bit of yard work, most likely, because it's... You know, we need something to do in the winter now. I will, at the moment anyway, unless you guys decide otherwise, I will be able to do some forestry in the winter. It'll give me something to do. I can go into the forest with a chainsaw and cut down some trees, and I'll probably chip them up. I'll probably make them into wood chips. Just because wood chips are the easiest way to deal with trees. Well, I don't like how forestry works in Farm Sim. I've always found it kind of a bit pointless, because, like, my criticism can be applied to crops too, but I think in forestry kind of is a bit more apt. Forestry, the only thing you can really do with it in Farm Sim is just sell things. And yeah, that's true of crops too. You harvest the crops and you sell them, but you know, there's a logical reason behind that in Farming Simulator. And with forestry, there's no real logical reason that a farmer would be selling, you know, a bunch of pine trees or a bunch of wood chips. In reality, they'd probably be, you know, using the wood chips for animal bedding in the winter if straw's a bit low, or making pellets out of them, or maybe even just burning them in a furnace or something. You know, I might do that. Because I could use the furnace that BM Modding came out with, or Creative Mesh, whatever you want to call them, this week. I could use that, and I could use that to quote-unquote power the farmer. I could get the default in-game one and just place it down somewhere in the yard and say, this is my, you know, central heating furnace or something. There are ways that I could use that that would make sense in-game to use wood chips and deal with that kind of stuff. And one thing that I haven't done that I could have done is I haven't bought the placeable area. Now what I'm going to do actually is when the map releases, and there are going to be a few changes to the map. I've seen what the failures are. I'm not going to go into them, but well, when the map releases I'm going to make a few tweaks. I'm going to do some edits to, number one, bring some stuff back that's going to be removed, and number two, change the price of the placeable area, because I want the placeable area to be kind of prohibitively expensive. I don't want to be able to just go down there right now, which I could do, and buy it, and then be like, well, now I can get placeables. I want to have it so that it's difficult to get, and that there's I'll need a reason to get it. And I can't remember, by the way, if I put in BGA extension or not into this save. I'm not entirely sure either if I could put BGA extension in now. So you might see me suddenly having like less than 2 hours or 0 hours on this Ford and still having the fields done or nearly done. I might need to do some cheating and reverting of saves and abuse of creator tools, just to get the save into the right place if I do need to restart for any reason. Because I kind of do want BJ extension in here just so that, number one, silage is a bit more worthwhile if I do go to just selling it, and number two, so that I don't revert to just doing constant BGA work, like I've been doing a lot recently. So what I'm going to do, just to be a bit different from my normal videos, is I'm going to finish cultivating this field, or get close to being finished, and I'll be back with you guys in a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to give you guys a bit of a time lapse, so I'll talk to you guys then. So we're almost done with the field. And almost done with the episode as a result. I don't really have anything else planned. What I'm going to do at the end of this is I'm going to bring the tractor and the cultivator back over to the yard. I'm going to put them away. And it's not going to be a rule, but it's just going to be something that I'll do is I'll try and put stuff away. You guys don't need to suggest I put things away rule. Just because if I leave a stream with stuff everywhere, I'll probably come in after the stream and just put stuff away, or it'll give me an excuse to do a yard work episode where I just put stuff away. Or yard work time lapse or something. Although I thought of something really good while I was doing the time lapse bit, and I've forgotten what it is now. Oh. Oh yeah, with the rules. I know some of you would have already left a comment by this point, but just something for the rest of you to bear in mind if you haven't left a comment yet with a rule suggestion. It doesn't matter if I've already broken your rule. The rules you guys suggest will only take effect once they're active. Once I've chosen them, that's when they'll become active. So you can suggest something that I've done already that breaks your rule, as long as it doesn't contradict any other rules, obviously. So you can't have a rule that says... You can't make up a rule that says, you know, 100 horsepower or less, because that would contradict the 250 rule. So that's the only rule the rules are going to go by, is you can't make up contradictory rules, and obviously they won't be in effect until I actually put them into effect. So if I've already broken your rule that you want to suggest, you can still suggest it. Just because it makes life a bit easier for me and for you guys if I'm not just randomly excluding rules because, well, I've already broken that. I've already broken that one. I've already broken that one. It suddenly becomes a case of, well, there are no rules left that I could use. So it makes life a bit easier. Also, if somebody suggests in-cab only, that will only ever be in effect in videos. Because I'm not going to do streams with the track on, because it gives me a headache after about half an hour, and it's really quite painful. Also, I can't remember quite where I've put it at the moment. So it's back over to the yard we go with the 8340. This is the Power Star SLE version, by the way. It's just the bog standard 8340. This is, as well, it is Pedro's version of the 8340. So it's the nice rusty version that I love. You can see the difference actually on both sides of the road between the field that has been rolled on the right and the field that is not on the left. You can see that field on the right is fully fertilized, ready to go, ready to grow us some lovely, lovely grass. And one thing that I'm going to try and do as well, again, not in the rules, but I'm going to just try and do it, is I'm going to try and have all the animals on the go. I'm going to try and have sheep and cows and pigs. I've got a plan for the sheep specifically. I've got a plan for something cool to do just every so often. That I'm sure somebody will say I'm copying somebody else. It's just something that I'd like to do, something that's actually quite fun to do periodically. And I'll be doing that as well. Why is there a piece of equipment left in the shop here? What's going on? Ah, yes, that telehandler doesn't count as equipment, by the way. That was me getting something down off the roof, because I got something stuck on the roof of the shop. I forgot to move that. I got something stuck on the roof of the shop and while I was setting up, and I needed to get it back down. So yes, I have already done a really stupid thing. The map has been officially christened by me as being capable of producing stupid things. But as we pull into the yard here, that is going to do it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the fact that you're now getting Shamrock Valley content, and you guys know that Shamrock Valley is near at hand for release. I'll leave it right here. Until next time. Number one, leave your comments and rules, suggestions down below. Leave your thoughts on the video as well, if you really want to. Leave a like, leave a subscribe as well. And I'll leave you with saying, I've been RainbowDave, you've been watching the Crowdsourced challenge on Shamrock Valley. I very nearly said Sandy Bay. The Crowdsourced challenge on Shamrock Valley. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys like the idea that I'm going with here, and hope you guys suggest some really nice rules that'll make things interesting for me. Until next time, stay safe and goodbye.